Seems to me in the next 4 weeks, there's a big consumer test in tech, both with these iPhones and the early reviews, then these major gaming consoles. We haven't seen a refresh like this in about 7 years. You think the consumer can hold up?
Yeah, these are interesting questions. I think first and foremost, we have some pretty big macro events that are coming up as well, with the election, hopefully getting a control on the pandemic, as well as the stimulus package. And I think all of those will also help to influence consumer behavior. With regard to Apple and the iPhone, we've seen reports showing that the 12 sales look good so far for the models that are currently on pre-release orders. I think the most interesting thing is that we're at a situation where this is where the expectation would be for the so-called super cycle with regard to iPhone and the refresh with strong consumer demand. But we don't really have a true killer app per se. I think we'll definitely see some new innovative features with the iPhone with regard to camera and clarity, and then also the ability to leverage the 5G networks. But the question remains is, are these things enough for the consumer? I think historically, we've seen these exciting applications that friends want to show off to their other friends, and that kind of spurs consumer demand. It's almost difficult to really show an advantage to a friend of the 5G network. So we'll see. I know personally I'm due for an upgrade, so I'm planning on pre-ordering the Max when it becomes available.
Now, on the other hand, game consoles are a lot easier to show off. But I wonder, this week of earnings, what's most important? We get a number of semiconductor names: Texas Instruments, Lam Research, Intel, of course, very importantly. PCs have been doing well, but will that give us much insight, you think, into the pipeline? Or is it really more about software these days, no matter what the chip folks are doing?
Yeah, again, I go back to the comment around, these killer apps, and it is really more, in my opinion, about the software, both on the consumer side and the business side. I think the good news is that, this technology on the hardware side has become so pervasive and has become so good, we almost don't even think about it. Like the complexity has been obfuscated away because of the great user experience, which allows everyone to really focus on what it is that we're actually using the technology for.
Lo, you mentioned the pandemic, trying to get a handle on it. Broad commentary over the weekend and over the past couple of weeks that the fall and the winter look potentially troublesome, at least if the current trends extend. What do you think that means? We got Netflix this week. In terms of the streaming environment, is it possible for people to watch any more than they already are, or subscribe any more than they already are, because they already have been home for several months to some degree?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, the new subscriber growth is what really drives the share price. I do believe that we have more headroom with regard to Netflix. Everyone is going to be at home. It's going to be colder. People are going to spend more time at home, and screens are going to be even more prevalent than they are right now. So I see some headroom in terms of Netflix being able to grow their subscriber base. I mean, in fact, many analysts think that maybe Netflix was being a little conservative with regard to their projections for subscriber growth, and a lot of the analysts are increasing their estimates for new subscribers. So I think, we will see. I know personally I'll be watching a lot of Netflix for some of my favorite shows, and I suspect that will translate over to other consumers as well.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.